Hey, it's Tom and welcome to a new Synth video. Hope you are fine and relaxed. It's summer, it's hot and the synth market is currently a bit more calm. But that's not a problem, there's still many things to check out. For example, this new MIDI keyboard here from the company M-VAVE. It's a company from China and I bought this keyboard here straight from Aliexpress for around 70 bucks. So it's around 70 and 80 bucks. I'm not sure what I paid, but it was not more than 80 bucks. But you can also buy it for 100 bucks. So it really depends where you buy it, at which shop, and of course, which coupon are you using. So you can get $10 off, and then you can get it for 80 bucks or even 70 bucks. Yeah, and it's a MIDI controller, oh yeah, but it has tons on offer of features. So I decided to pick it up because it's pretty cheap and it has tons of features. And it comes here in this pretty unspectacular boxing here in this package. Then it has this user manual, which is pretty extensive for a MIDI controller for this price. That's pretty good. Some companies are doing less good manuals. Then you have here a bit flimsy USB-C cable, but still it's good to have. And this keyboard is also available in white. Okay, let's check out the keyboard. And as you can see, the keyboard is already on, but there's no cable connected. Yeah, because the keyboard has a built-in battery. And as you can see here on this nice screen, you can see how much battery is inside. So it's half loaded. And let's see on the back side, you have here a sustain pedal input. Then you have here a audio output, which is pretty interesting. Then you have a MIDI output. Unfortunately, it's on MIDI jack, not a classic 5-pin MIDI. That's a downer for me. Then you have a USB-C port. This is not only for MIDI, but also for audio. And then you have a on and off switch. Let's check out now the controls. And as you can see, the keyboard is already on. And I can already play it, because there's also Bluetooth MIDI, and I connected it right to my Ableton Live, and it works fine. Yeah, first we have here a classic MIDI keyboard, 37 keys. These are MIDI keys and it's velocity sensitive but not aftertouch. The keys are fine for me. I would compare them with them from MPC Mini. So these from these MIDI keyboards from Akai, and they feel nice. They are not very high quality or high quality for me. It's fine. It's always put it in relation that you're paying for this 70 bucks or 80 bucks. So they are totally fine. They are very lightweight. So yeah, a bit spongy, but totally fine for this price. Then you have here a pitch and mod wheel. They work also fine. For me, the quality here is, it's not perfect because here the pitch, it's a bit, for me, a bit too tough. But yeah, they're fine, but not super high quality. And you must be here, attention, there's a new firmware update. So if you get your keyboard, you must see if there's a firmware update available, because there's a new one which fixed the pitch and mod wheels. On it was already installed, but it might be that there are some units out there where the firmware is not yet updated. So be careful there. Then we have here a nice display that gives you visual feedback of the different features. Then we have here 8 endless encoders. They work very fine. It's not very high quality, but they work. So as you can see here, you get instantly feedback. So they are, for a low budget keyboard, they work fine. And what is nice, you have also a second knob bank. If you press here, you get a second layer. So in total, you have then 16 endless encoders. Same for the faders, you have 4, and you get a second bank here. So you can see here instantly CC64, 67, 66, and they feel pretty nice. I prefer the faders over the knobs here because they feel a bit better. Yeah, that works fine. Then we have here 16 drum pads. They are velocity sensitive and they have aftertouch and they work great. And what is nice, you always get the information when you press the velocity and you reach the aftertouch. So that's really nice here, and you also see which pad you are pressing. Yeah. Functions like launching clips are not available here. And you have also a note repeat function. You have to press on it here, and then you get your typical note repeats. And for changing, you need to press the button, which is a downer, and I hope that M-VAVE will change this in a firmware update, because now you have to press and then you can change the gate, the swing, the tempo, and the rate and the latch. You can also latch it. And for this, you have to go to the knob 1 or knob 2, knob 3, and so on. And if I want to change now here the rate, I go to knob 4. So I go to 1/16. Or I go back here to 1/8, and you can see it works great here. But a downer, you have to press here always the note button, note repeat button to make it, and yeah, I hope this will be changed in a future firmware update. Underneath the pads you have also classic transport controls for your DAW. Then you can also change here the octave, do it lower or higher. And what I love here is that the display also visualizes your playing. So for example here you get C3, G3, D3 or C3, and this also works here with, of course, with chords, G minor, F minor or C minor. This is also great. And there's some more advanced features for the keyboard or for the playing experience. So there's an arpeggiator, press on it and it's on. This works great, and unfortunately the same problem here as with the note repeat. You need to press the button to change the parameters, so you can change the mode, octave, gate, swing, tempo, rate and latch. That's pretty extensive for an arpeggiator. And you have various modes here, up, down, so you can play here down. You can also change the parameters either with these 7 knobs here, or you can take here the keys, which is a bit more easier. So let's take here the down, for example. We can also take here the random. Or for example, the repeat. Let's go down again to up here. And what I find a bit confusing or not so great here on for changing with the keys is they added here the gate plus on the left side and the gate minus on the right side. It would be better to have the gate minus on the left side because you go down, and the gate plus on the plus, so and the gate plus on the right side because you go up. So this would be better if this would be on the other side. Then you can also change the octave and so on, the tempo also here. And as I already said, you can change everything also here with the knobs. So for example here, go here down on the rate. Or we go here up. Yeah, you can see it works great. Then you have also so in the note repeat already showed you. Then you have a scale function also here. Again, long pressing, and then you can change the bass. So you can go to C and so on. And the display also changed this, which is pretty nice here. So I'm here now on the C. It's classic, as you know, from scale, and you can also then change also the scale here from major, minor, Dorian, Lydian, and so on. There are varies inside. There are not many, but yeah, there's some inside, which is pretty nice here. And then you have also chord mode. Same here. There's interesting here. There are many chords inside. So if it's on, you can play them. If you press longer, you can also change the chord, for example, major to minor. Press on it, and then you can change it to dim. Yeah, and also you can change the chord type here. You have various types here included. I don't think there's an option to create your own types, but I hope this will be also added via a firmware update. But cool to have scales and chords in this MIDI keyboard here. Then you have here on the right side a globe function that gives you more information, options for customization. So you can change the preset. So you can also create your entire presets for the parameters, which is nice. You can change the key channel, the velocity for the keys, so you can modify it, the pad aftertouch, and so on. So there are various options. You can also reset to factory and see what firmware is here installed. Next to the global setting button, or here globe, you have the Bluetooth button, and if you activate this and pair it with your MacBook or iPad or any computer, you get not only Bluetooth MIDI, but it also sends Bluetooth audio. Bluetooth MIDI is great because we are now at a standard which is pretty fast, and the latency is also pretty small, but Bluetooth audio still lags when it comes to real-time audio. So for playback audio it's fine, but if you make music with it and you play keys and so on, Bluetooth audio is not worth working with because it's too laggy and so on. So ignore this. And there's also one thing here with the Bluetooth. If you turn on the keyboard and it's not connected to your computer or so on, it blinks and blinks and blinks. I hope they will change this also in the firmware, because this is a bit annoying. So if you're not working with Bluetooth, it blinks, and hope they will change this. Then a cool feature of the keyboard is the built-in sequencer. Yeah, it also has a sequencer. And if you can activate it here with a simple sequence button, and then it's activated, and you can see if you press on it, again here with the same problem with other buttons, you need to press it to get to the menu. And you can see you have here up to 8 patterns, and each pattern can have up to 64 steps, which is great. Then you have a mode, so you have a keyboard mode, so you program it like a traditional sequencer. Then you can also play it live mode, so the sequence is running and you play it in, so in the live mode. And you have a drum mode, so this one here. Then you press buttons, and then you can program this is great for drum sounds. Let's take here, for example, for me the key mode. As I said, you can change here the steps, so you can go up to 64, which is also handy. Take here 16. Then you can change the gate, the swing, the tempo, and the rate. For example, I program now here a sequence, so you need to press here sequence record. This sounds now not so great. What we can do, we can delete it, press sequence, and then we go here to this. You can take the last here, or you go to the second page, clear pattern, so knob 8, and then you press on the reset, and then it's deleted. Let's do it, redo it. Okay, and then we can play it. Or not. A traditional sequencer. What you have now seen, you can deactivate patterns, steps. And that is something I'm missing here definitely, because I love, if I make a sequence, to deactivate individual steps. What is, however, neat is if you press a step, you can see, you can clear the step here with key 8, with the knob 8, and you can see where the wish node you programmed in, which is also a very cool feature. But you can change, you can now not deactivate or activate a step. That would be also a great new feature for adding. And of course, you can also use the sequencer to route out to a hardware SYNTH or so on. Before I forget to tell you, the sequencer also handles polyphonic data. For example, I go here to sequence, I pick a different pattern. So I go to second. The mode I take here, for example, the live mode. Steps I take here 32, for example. The gates I will a bit higher, maybe to 64, 70. Yeah, and the rate is 8, so it should be fine. Okay, and then what is cool, you can also program your chords using the chord function. And then let's record something inside our sequencer. So press sequence recording, and then it's running. What is here, what you must know is, if you still keep pressing or activate here the sequence recording, it will delete your steps in the live mode. So this should be known. So if you program something in and you say, okay, now it's fine, press the sequence recording again, so it no longer records more or deletes your steps. So you see, it works. You can record also polyphonic data inside the sequencer. It was not the best demo, but it works. What is missing here is you don't have sync. So there's no sync output for syncing other stuff. This is missing here, but you can have everything for 70 or 80 bucks. It's already crazy what you get here in this unit for stuff for this price. Until now, I used the SMK-37 Pro from M-VAVE as a traditional MIDI controller connected via Bluetooth MIDI to my MacBook, and then to Ableton Live, where I play back an analog device patch as a sound source. But there's one more thing. The SMK-37 Pro is also a synthesizer, a standalone synthesizer. It has a DX7 inspired engine inside. I say inspired because the engine doesn't sound like now exactly like a Yamaha DX7, but more like a little FM engine. And for this, I will go now deactivate here the Bluetooth MIDI because I no longer use it or need it. And then to activate the engine, you need to go here to patch, and then the engine is activated. Of course, we need also to connect a stereo output to an audio interface to get audio out, or you're using the USB-C audio functionality, which also works. And then you can see you press here, again the same issue, you need to press the patch here to get information about the features. So you have 4 banks. You have knob 1, which is bank 1, bank 2, bank C and D. And of course you can also, what is nice, import your own patches using the software which is included. And this also works nicely. You need to make a bit, the patches doesn't work all perfectly, but most of them work. And then you have also a second page here, it's called parameter. Then you reach here the parameters. Again, you need to press it to get the features. I hope this will be fixed in the firmware update. And then you can change here the algorithm, the feedback, change the patch from mono to poly, then change the volume, and then also latch. I hope they will also extend here the feature set to offer more smart ways to change the parameters, or simply if you press the parameters, that the parameters will automatically go to the knobs here, that you no longer need to press the parameter knob to access the features. Then also very interesting is here, there's also an FX section, also long pressing again, the issue. Then you get a cutoff, a distortion, a reverb and a delay. And you can also save your patches here in the menu. Yeah, you can see it's an entire FM engine. The feature set is a bit limited. I hope they will add more features to it in the future as a firmware update. Yeah, and one issue which I had with the engine is I get some pops and jitter randomly, so I don't know it's the engine or it's the DAC, but I say it's the DAC because I had the same issues with the USB-C audio output, where I also played some stuff from other sources, and then I got the same issue that I got some jitter or so, yeah, so glitches and so on. Maybe my DAC, which is here in the unit, maybe it's had a failure, but I'm not sure. Maybe M-VAVE can also say this in the comments if they watch the video. Yeah, and now let's check out some patches of this nice little FM engine. And of course you can also use the different features here, like the Arpeggiator. Or you can also use here the chord function. You can also use the sequencer. Let's take a different sound. Let's add a bit of here the reverb, for example, or the delay and reverb. Yeah, this sound doesn't sound now very high quality, but hey, there's an FX section inside. Let's add here a bit of reverb to it. Before wrapping up this long video and giving you my final verdict on this keyboard, I have one more issue that I want to tell you. The USB-C audio on my MacBook works fine. So if you connect it, it will display as an audio interface, and then you can also root out the FM engine to Ableton Live via USB-C. That works, but I have the issues with the audio quality inside. And other issue I have connected it now to the iPad, and unfortunately the iPad doesn't recognize it as an audio interface, or not major audio interface, because here you can see the input is headset. That's an issue. I don't know what's wrong here in the firmware. Maybe they can fix this, but normally you have then an audio interface input and you can then play in the FM engine, and it should work also here. It doesn't work, but hopefully they can fix this. But what is working, what is nice here is I can hear the output of the iPad here via the audio output of the unit. That's also a great feature that works, and so you can play on the iPad and you have here an audio input also. So that's nice. All in all, with the SMK-37 Pro, M-VAVE has brought an exciting MIDI controller on the market that puts many big-name MIDI controllers to shame. MIDI controller duties, Arpeggiator, sequencer, scales and chords, USB audio interface, Bluetooth MIDI and audio, built-in battery, and a complete synthesizer engine. This is probably the most comprehensive feature set I have ever seen in a budget MIDI controller. Well, it can make coffee, but maybe in the future. And all this for between $70 and $80. It's pretty crazy. However, this incredible dense feature set also has its drawbacks. The build quality is good, and for $70 MIDI controller it's absolutely fine, but it's not on the level of other manufacturers like Novation, Arturia and others. Same applies to the features. There are many, but many are implemented very basic. Of course, they can be expanded with firmware updates in the future. I have hopes. For example, there's an option for chords, but you can program your own. The sequencer is simple, but lacks creative extras like probability, ratcheting or simple turning steps on and off. The developers could also have put a little more love into the synth engine, especially in terms of operation. Especially I hope they can solve the button press problem on every function. A real downer for me, and maybe other people have the same problem, is the unclean audio output with random jitter and noise. I hope they can fix it with a firmware update, but I'm not sure. Another reader reported noise interferences with the USB charger. I didn't experience this during testing. Can I recommend the SMK-37 Pro from M-VAVE? I'm torn. On the one hand, it's a no-brainer to its features versus price ratio. On the other hand, there are issues that can be ignored, which somewhat dampens my happiness. Honestly, it was an interesting experiment out of curiosity that didn't cost me a lot. It was fun to check out for you, and I'm looking forward how it will evolve in the future. Currently, however, I wouldn't replace my existing mobile keyboard setup with this controller. For this it needs more updates, etc. There's a link to the shop where I bought it in the video description. It arrived in 2 weeks. Be careful, it's possible that you can probably find it cheaper at the other shops on Aliexpress. As I said, it always depends on the current price, discount and on the vouchers. And of course, let me know in the comments below your opinion about the SMK-37 Pro from M-VAVE. It would be cool to hear your input or experience with the device. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss a video. And of course, you also support with this my work. Big thanks in advance, and hope to see you again very soon in the next video. Bye!